Hey BA fam, it's Mandy Money here, aka Mandra. Listen, y'all, I want this to be the year when you finally learn how to be the badass negotiator that you have always wanted to be, whether you are plucking up your courage and trying to ask for a raise where you currently work, or you are ready to negotiate a damn good, juicy offer from a new job. I am here for you. I have got a 5-step signature salary negotiation strategy that I only teach in my free virtual Nail Your Negotiation masterclass. I've got one coming up in just a couple of weeks. You can sign up and save your spot at nailyournegotiation.com. That's nailyournegotiation.com. I can't wait to see y'all there.
Hey, 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 we're back, we're black, we're extra, extra brown today because we have a guest. Ambition. Hey, Mandra, how are ya?
Triple the chocolate today. I'm doing well, my Valentine. How are you, gorgeous?
Aww, I'm good. You look so cute with your heart on your chesticles.
Well, you know, on my chesticle. Yeah, you know, I have a child now, so I don't have a choice. I have to go down the Valentine aisle at grocery stores and pack his little Valentines for all his little friends who will not remember this because they're 3 years old. So why do I have to make 14 Valentine's goodie bags? But anyway, I'm good. I celebrated Valentine's Day by going to hear my baby's heartbeat this morning. I went to the gyno. And I thought like, oh yeah, I'm going to rock the heart sweat, the big heart sweater and go in and just be a little extra. Mm-hmm. The girls in the OB office were not feeling the Valentine's vibes today. I was like, people gone through some bad breakups or what? But yeah, happy to be with you. How's your V-Day going? How you doing?
Good. Honestly, a lot of people reached out because, it's a day of love. And the truth is I was never all that super sentimental. I mean, Jarrell was definitely the super sentimental. So I would have woke up to all the things. I mean, I used to always be like, you're the lady. So I would have woke up to all the things. And
it's always one in the couple. It's always one.
And so that was him. But honestly, because I wasn't, I always appreciated, obviously, the effort, but not necessarily, I didn't need the things. And so I don't know. I actually feel okay today. I don't feel, if my sister hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known. I'm not really heavy on social today, so I probably won't see all the posts and things. But my friend Mark and his wife actually sent me chocolates and a card, which I thought was so nice. But being Mark, it was like, happy Valentine's Day, monkey. I was like, you know what? If you knew my friend Mark, who is black.
Tell me Mark is not white.
Yes, he's black. If you knew my friend Mark, you would know that is something that he'd be like, I sent Tiffany a monkey card. I'm like, you know what, Mark? But it was really sweet. I was like, oh,
so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, Enrique tried to sneak out. Husband tried to sneak out the house last night at 10:30, talking about I need to go to the store. I said, and I literally was like, babe, go to sleep. Like, I'm already mad at you because you didn't appreciate the breakfast that I made for you because you were in a rush. So like, just go to sleep and tomorrow just be nice. That's the stage that I'm at in my marriage and relationship. Like, I'd rather you get some sleep.
Speaking of Valentine's Day and vajayjays, wait, did we just make that transition?
It's a different, it's V-Day on Brown Ambition, but not the kind you might expect.
Oh, yes. Ooh, yes. That's a good title for Imani, our producer. V-Day, V as in vagina. V for vulva, exactly. So we've got an awesome guest today. Her name is Jenna Perkins. She is a GYN and a sexual health specialist. She specifically serves the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area, also known as the DMV. She is an RN, and she's a board-certified women's health and gender-related nurse practitioner. She's originally from the D, as in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, Jenna. She completed her undergraduate studies and master's in women's health at the University of Pennsylvania. That's called Ivy League in their School of Nursing. Her career as a nurse practitioner launched in a busy downtown DC office, where she became an expert in urology, which is how I met her, sexual health, and pelvic floor disorders. She specializes in complex patients and offers a holistic approach to care. So I just wanted to so how I met Jenna. This is just kind of like our second time kind of meeting, because one of my employees, we would always joke that girl, you cough, you sneeze, you're like, well, there goes my undies. I've always been Like, there's never a time that I can't give you a urine sample. Never. I don't care if I just gave you one. I'm always ready. And so I knew that it wasn't normal. Remember that time, Andy, when we both had like COVID and we were coughing and we both were like, I know you're wearing a pad and not for your period. But
listen, can I just full disclosure? Because I am pregnant now. And Rio effed up everything down there. My first, he just came out swinging, and it has not been the same. And I was shocked to hear, Tiffany, you have that problem too, because I thought, damn, if I just wouldn't have this child, if I'd, done something, it wouldn't be the issue. But
girl,
it's something that we need to.
So I wanted Jenna to come because honestly, I peed the bed till I was 10. I've always had a really hard time holding it. And so I wanted, Jenna to come on to kind of chat with us about not just that, but just like vulva health overall. So Jenna, welcome to BA, the Brown Ambition.
I'm so excited to be here, guys. Like, I am ecstatic. And first of all, thank you for being so vulnerable and opening it up, because both of you having these experiences and sharing it with your audience, that's going to give so many women permission to say, hey, I heard that this is not normal, or I know that I'm not alone. There are other women that maybe have not had kids that are suffering, right? Because we give ourselves these reasons why, right? This is happening to me because, and therefore I don't deserve or should not explore options to make it better. It's because I had a baby. It's because, I'm stressed, or whatever the reason is, there is hope for you and there are solutions out there. So I'm so excited to get into it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, can you just answer me this, Jenna? Why do I pee on myself? Like, I have not had a baby. Because you said something, you asked me about like where I held stress or whatever. So Mandy, just listen to this. This was so like, I never thought about that. So yes, can you share why potentially someone who has not had children, pushed a baby out, might have a hard time holding when they have to pee?
Yes. So I just have to give my disclaimer. I'm a nurse, but I'm not your nurse unless you come see me at Discover Health in the DC area. So I can't give medical advice, but I can give some general kind of recommendations, because just like you, Tiff, I love to teach. I consider myself an educator. Discover Health, the HER is healthcare, education, and resources. So education is, my middle name as far as my business. But all of that to say, just because you have not had some sort of trauma like a birth does not mean that your muscles that are in charge of the bladder are not overworked, overtired, not working properly. And so oftentimes, especially in women who are ambitious, type A personalities, we hold our stress in our bodies. And so I can see from a mile away the lawyer walking down the street just by the way that she walks, And I think the question that I asked you was, what's your jaw like? What are your teeth like? Do you gnaw your teeth at night? Because so many of my clients have had extensive dental work, and nobody, when they're in a dental chair, is thinking about their vaginas or their vulvas or their bladder, but it's all connected. You're one big zipper. So if you're stressed and you're tight in your jaw, then you're probably stressed and tight in your shoulders, and you're probably stressed and tight in your butt muscles, and the same thing in the pelvic floor, which are the tiny muscles that are in charge of so much function. It's in charge of birthing babies. It's in charge of sexual function. It's in charge of pooping. It allows you to breathe. Your diaphragm is a part of your pelvis and your pelvic floor. So literally every essential function, peeing, pooping, breathing, birthing, having sex, has something to do with the pelvic floor. And so when people are like, oh, you do this and this and this and this, and how does it all connect? It's because I work with that very small area, the pelvic floor, which has so much function. And when there is so much function, there's room for dysfunction, right? So if
fascinating.
Yeah.
So our stress can weaken our pelvic floor.
For sure. And so I think
clenching would be good, because aren't Kegel's kind of all about the clench?
Oh my God.
I'm doing them right now. I always forget to do them.
Don't. If you take anything away from this conversation, it's to stop doing the Kegels.
Oh my God. Thank you. Wait, why? Because literally that's what I have been. I've been sick for so long, and the chronic coughing. Tiffany, it's not pads anymore for me. It's full on going to the disposable underwear section of CVS. Although I'm not going to lie, I DoorDash it, so I don't have to, because it's so frustrating. Anyway. And I have gone to my OB, my prenatal, doctors, and she's just like, Kegels, or once the baby's out, it'll be better. But tell me, Please.
So first of all, she has 10 minutes with you. That's all that she can really give you. Because insurance, right? Her insurance or your insurance is saying like, in order for her to be profitable, she has to see 15, 20 people a day
in order to different OB every week.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know who my OB is. I'm like, I just see someone different.
Right. Yeah. And so to have an intimate conversation about something like this, right, something that's so vulnerable, most people don't even want to bring it up to their providers, right? And so that makes it so that OBGYNs and other providers, they don't have to think about it. They're like, most people are not asking me about it anyway. And it happens to so many women that I can just, brush them off. And if it's still happening post-pregnancy, then we can have a conversation because I don't have time. I got to go. I got 5 people waiting on me, and they're dealing with serious things. They got a pregnancy loss. They got someone with preeclampsia, like they are like urinary leakage. I don't have time for, you're fine. Are you dying? Nope. Okay, good. My hand's on the door. I got to leave the room. So, and it's not because they don't care or because they don't want to give you the best service. It's that the medical model that we have, they literally are unable to care for you in the way that you deserve. So we have to advocate for ourselves as clients to say, no, listen, I need you to take this seriously. And it may not be the highest priority on your list, but I need you to give me some real direction. And Kegels are not cutting it, right? The reason that Kegels don't cut it is because if you walked around with your arm clenched all day, tight, if you wanted to pick up a bag or a baby or anything else, your range of motion is severely inhibited, right? So you're doing this when you should be doing a full-on squeeze, right? So that's all muscles. That's how all muscles function. And the pelvic floor is not exempt. So if your pelvic floor muscles are tight, if you're a tight ass, right? And you're walking around at baseline, just like clenched up, when you go to cough, sneeze, laugh, pick up that baby, your muscles don't have nothing left to give, sis. You're going to leak. They're weak because they are tight. And so truly, strength comes from being able to tighten. So at baseline, we're relaxed, we're chilling. Here comes the action. So now I know I need to tighten to protect, right? So that's the skinny of it and why I think that a lot of women suffer from incontinence that is worse when you do things like Kegel because you're steady tightening, right? You're tightening, and then comes pain, right? Because those muscles are overworked and then they're tired. So then you're having intercourse and you're like, oh, I don't like that no more. From the back used to feel good, but now I can't take it. Now I'm running, right? Because those muscles are so tight. The same way your shoulders get tight and then someone comes up behind you and tries to do a little massage and you're like, don't do that. That hurts, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
What can help? Is it vagina weights?
Come see me. Come see me, first of all. I'm jesting, but seriously, ingest.
I didn't know there were pelvic floor specialist people that just focus on that.
It's not a lot of meat in the world. I consider my skills to be unicorn skills because we work in silos in the medical system, right? So traditionally, I would have come out of school and gone straight to an OBGYN's office and been caring for women who are pregnant or having yeast infections, right? And I would have stayed in that world. But because of my personality, I like the complex. I kind of run to, if nobody else wants to see it, I want to see it. So I was very intentional about, I want to see the women that nobody else wants to see. And so that landed me in a urology clinic, right? Because to your point, people don't have time to be hearing about you peeing your pants, And I can remember being a nursing student and having a client, we had to go into the community and I had a client who her family was going to put her in a nursing home because she was incontinent. It wasn't because they just could not change her, right? They didn't have the capacity to be able to, keep tabs on her in her diapers, right? And so they were like, well, we need help. We need support. It's too expensive to have someone coming in just to help her to the bathroom or to change her all the time. And we can't do this. So we're going to put her in a home. And that really stuck with me. I really felt like this woman still has some life in her. And that's been cut short because her family does not have the capacity to care for her because of this condition that there has to be treatments out here for. So having that experience and a lot of other experiences, I was like, okay, I have to be intentional about caring for women that need me, the most vulnerable women amongst us. And so I started to work in urology. And so I had these GYN skills because I am a women's health and gender related nurse practitioner. So I can do the yeast infections. I can do the, OB care. I can do all of that. But now additionally, I can connect the dots between the women that are coming in with chronic yeast infections and chronic BV and all of these urinary tract infections are also having incontinence, right?
Oh, and yeah, and I hadn't thought about urology at all,
Right.
And that's and for people who don't know, that's your, yeah, I did just pee a little. Keep that in.
The cough is down.
Okay, I got my diaper on. No, but every time you hear a cough, just think R.I.P. to my disposable.
And therefore to your pockets, because those pads are not cheap.
I'm saying, and my husband brought the wrong size the other day, and I was trying to squeeze my butt into a size medium, and I'm like, and they're ripping, and I'm like, God damn it. That's like $5.
It's having a hard time, child. That's why this conversation is right on time, because it's right. No one really, you'll see here, obviously on Brown and Bishop, we just talk about everything because, we're 2 brown girls, now 3, trying to navigate life. And so, this is something that I think not enough women, feel comfortable talking about. Because to your point, no one wants to act like something is wrong with their vulva or something's wrong down there. Because there's so much judgment associated with that. So
it seems so big. It doesn't seem big. Like to your point, I'm not dying. And you described so perfectly my experience in my OB's office that they care, but I'm not, there's no life-threatening situation. So they scoop me on out.
Let's pause this vagina chat because we have to go to break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back. Hey, BA fam. Many skincare experts and dermatologists have long touted the benefits of increased indoor humidity for healthy, glowing skin. For a long time, I've been using humidifier for my skin, sleep, and overall wellness. The problem? Traditional models are notorious for being bulky, ugly, moldy, and impossible to maintain. That's where Canopy Humidifier comes in. Canopy Humidifier is a completely reimagined humidifier that can help you elevate your home for the ultimate skincare and wellness. The Canopy Humidifier's clean moisture can help combat dryness, sensitivity, dullness, and fine lines and wrinkles. This humidifier promotes a healthy skin barrier and can help increase the efficiency of your topical care products. It's like a 2-for-1. Canopy Humidifier has a built-in aroma diffuser that uses the simple process of evaporation to fill your room with scented moisture. Go to getcanopy.co to save $25 on your Canopy Humidifier purchase today with Canopy's filter subscription. Even better, use code BROWNAMBITION at checkout and save an additional 10% off your Canopy purchase. Your skin will thank you.
Hey, BA fam, it's Mandy Money here, aka Mandra. Listen, y'all, I want this to be the year when you finally learn how to be the badass negotiator that you have always wanted to be, whether you are plucking up your courage and trying to ask for a raise where you currently work, or you are ready to negotiate a damn good, juicy offer from a new job. I am here for you. I have got a 5-step signature salary negotiation strategy that I only teach in my free virtual Nail Your Negotiation masterclass. I've got one coming up in just a couple of weeks. You can sign up and save your spot at nailyournegotiation.com. That's nailyournegotiation.com. I can't wait to see y'all there.
For decades, Rolling Stone has set the bar for entertainment publications. Today, Rolling Stone Music Now takes over in podcast form. SZA.
You seem like a person with a pretty high level of anxiety, but you also seem fearless artistically.
I feel like ideas have more power than identity. Like the excitement overrides insecurity. That is the only way that I'm ever able to accomplish anything.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
We're back like back shots. You see what I did there? Anyway, back to our conversation.
Back like what?
Back shots.
What's a back shot?
Mandy! You don't get hit like from the drink? Back, girl. That's my favorite position.
What? Is that like a sexual position?
Yes, girl. Just from the back.
Oh, well, I'm not.
Meanwhile, has 2 kids.
Can I use my maternity pillow during the act? Because that is my level. Like there has to be, I need my pillows.
Some support.
Your like, your body, take that part out. Like,
so urology is the care of the bladder.
Just the bladder. Okay.
So urology is bladder care. So when we think about those pelvic floor muscles, again, all of that function of peeing, pooping, sexing, birthing, the bladder is a part of that, right? And so when we work in these silos, if I was only doing GYN or only doing obstetric care or only doing bladder health, it's hard to really have a holistic view of the whole person in front of you. Because it would have been super easy for me to just be like, okay, well, all of these women have overactive bladder. So now I'm going to give them these medications that are going to cause, long-term side effects, dry mouth, dry eyes, constipation, which is going to worsen their pelvic floor dysfunction, right? And then they'll be back here next year for more refills, right? And then when they turn 60, 70 years old, they're having memory loss because these drugs affect the brain, right? So I think I was definitely afforded the opportunity to have all of these skills that seemed like they didn't connect, but be able to put the pieces together. So, and then the sexual health kind of came along with it too, because these same women were having vaginal dryness. I used to be able to have an orgasm in 5 minutes or less than that, 30 seconds. I was having an orgasm. Now I can't have an orgasm anymore. Or, the women that were coming in and saying like, I think I have a urinary tract infection, but nobody has been able to figure it out, when really it's because those muscles are so tight that it's signaling to your brain a pain signal, right? And so your brain doesn't know the difference between an infection or overactive bladder or tight muscles. It's just like, go to the bathroom and we'll feel better, because we relax when we sit on the toilet.
I always thought it was like everything was too loosey-goosey down there. And like I envision like having a drawstring. I just want to like tighten it up. But you're kind of saying that it's the opposite. Too
right.
tight.
And it would depend on, like, we'd have to do an exam to see, right? But a lot of that tightening comes from if your muscles and if your, vulvovaginal tissue has not properly healed, then you can have over tightening. So both things can exist, where the look of your vulva, the look of your vagina might look different. Things might be literally falling out, right? Like your bladder can fall out. It's something called prolapse.
I'm on that side of TikTok right now.
Mm-hmm.
I saw, yes, someone was like, I was peeing and then my bladder was in my hand.
OMG!
And you're like, what is this? I've had patients come in like, Jenna, I think I have a penis. Like, I looked down there and I had a penis coming out. And what she's seeing is her cervix, right? It has a hole just like a penis. And her whole uterus had prolapse. So you can have the structures that are literally changing and becoming loosey-goosey, right? But those muscles are going to respond by tightening, because something's got to hold it together.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because honestly, I've always been told, like, even now if I feel like these are your trats or whatever, they're like, they've always been super tight.
Same.
Like holding on to like this, like, so I don't grind my teeth, but it's like I'm holding it here and apparently down there. Because when I was really little, honestly, at one point, my doctor, because I was having such a hard time, they worried that I was being like assaulted potentially. And then that's why I wasn't able to like hold, my pee. That was not the case. I remember they used to ask me all these questions. Does anybody touch you? I remember distinctly, like, I was in the room with my mom, and it had to be like second grade. And the doctor was like, Dr. Abina, I'll never forget. She's like, does anyone touch you down there? I was like, yes. She was like, who? I said, you. Because I was like, what's happening? Because she was the only one other than my mom. And she was like, girl, I mean somebody. I was like, girl, you all up in there. You ask me questions. I looked at my mother like, is this allowed? Because this lady's... And it was so hilarious. My mother just started busting out laughing like, not the doctor, Tiffany. I'm like, well, she wasn't clear.
Yeah. But stress, I mean, were you a stressed out child? Like, what sort of other traumas did you have in your life that, had your pelvis tight? You were in fear of something, and so
stressed out child.
That's going to manifest physically.
Mm-hmm. You were anxious. Interesting.
Very anxious.
I think about Viola Davis's book, because she had such a traumatic childhood, and she talks about peeing the bed for a long time as a child.
I was very anxious all the time. Honestly, I was an anxious child, an anxious adult. I mean, it's honestly just now that I'm starting to finally release some of the anxiety that like I carried with me. I didn't realize I'd gotten so used to it that now that I'm not carrying around largely most of that anxiety, that I'm like, wait, is this, I felt like up until like therapy, honestly, that I was always walking on eggshells. Always afraid, always, wait, always. And so now that like, after Jarrell passed away and I was like, I don't want to live in this space anymore in that kind of way. Like, I'm like, wait, is this what relaxed feels like? I've never been relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the work that I do with my clients is training you on what it feels like to not be clenching all the time, right? So teaching you how to breathe so that you can create space in your pelvis to give your pelvic floor muscles permission to relax. Because right now your baseline is tight. That's all that it knows, right? And so you have to train your brain and literally reteach your muscles how to work properly. So
can you talk about some practical tips generally for anyone who's suffering from like pelvic floor issues, what we could be doing? Because honestly, it's like we saw that one episode of Oprah in 2004 about doing Kegels, and it's just like that's the go-to.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. So Kegels aren't all bad. Like I don't want to, there are some clients that they are indicated for, but if you have pain and if you don't know how to properly do them, then they're not right. So I would say that if you are doing them on your own, you need to have a coach in the way of someone like me, like I'm a women's health nurse practitioner, or you can find a pelvic floor physical therapist, someone who can teach you in a couple of sessions to make sure that you're doing the exercise correctly. Because if you're doing it incorrectly, you are working against yourself, right? Because if you think that you are tightening the muscles around the bladder because you have urinary leakage, but then you're just tightening your butt muscles instead, right? So then when you go to poop, those muscles around your rectum can't relax. So now you're constipated, So really, you need to work with a specialist to figure out how to do the exercises correctly. And then you go on your own and do it. And so there's lots of information. I would say if you find ISSWSH, ISSWSH, it's the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. There are lots of gynecologists, nurse practitioners like myself, urologists who are members of this society. And we are all really trained on the pelvic floor and the impacts of the pelvic floor and all of the function and dysfunction that is there. And I'm going to give a shout out real quick. There is a pelvic floor physical therapist on Instagram. She's the Vagina Rehab Doctor. She's Black, and she has like a lot of online resources that you can sign up to do some stretch labs. Vagina Rehab Doctor.
This is me like
Vagina Rehab
immediately.
Yeah.
So what are you on?
I know I should shout out myself first. I am on social media as Discover Her Health. It's DISCOVHER, Discover Her Health. And my website is discoverherhealth.com. And so I share a lot of information on my Instagram page too, and have some plans in the works to launch some courses to teach you all about sexual health and bladder health and all of this stuff. So
for Black women, especially, like I know Tiffany suffered from fibroids. And can you speak a little bit about that's such I think we're just now understanding how, what an epidemic this is almost for Black women, especially in our community. Like, can you talk about just the importance of advocating for ourselves? Is it that doctors overlook our pain, or is it that we diminish it? Like, what's your advice for women who are in our community who are dealing with this, and why are we just more likely to be suffering?
It's a heavy question. It's a lot of things. One, the doctors, the nurses, they don't know any better. They're telling you to Kegel, not because they know that it's going to harm you, right? But because we don't get this education in school. Like I am self-taught in most of these things. Like I had to seek out conferences and become certified and learn these skills. I had to intentionally do that. And I was blessed enough to have the space to do so, So most of your providers are not going to understand the first thing about the pelvic floor, which is why they're telling you to Kegel, even though you don't necessarily need to. So I'll say that. And I think that the more we advocate for ourselves as clients, the more the provider will have to be like, well, you're not about to catch me slipping. You're not going to educate me, So then they are going to hopefully take that up to become educated about the pelvic floor. So we have to advocate for ourselves. We have to find the experts, and then the experts have to know their weaknesses. So gynecologists have to know who to refer to. Primary care providers have to know who to refer to. And so that's why I'm excited to be here, so that I can, as a young Black mom of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, with all of these lived experiences with my Black face, right, be on this podcast and say, like, I am here doing this work because there are not many of me. And hopefully I can inspire other nurses, other nurse practitioners, other OBGYNs to start to take up the work and start to do it alongside me. So it's a heavy question. And I am just, trying to do my part. I quit my job. I was like, I can't do this anymore within this system. I have this dream. It's on my heart. Like, all right, God, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to follow Tiffany. It's, she's going to help me launch this business, and I'm going to help her with the pelvic floor.
Oh, I love a quitter, though. I love a career quitter. I didn't realize that. So you left. And so now this is I do know that you're an entrepreneur. So when did you launch this particular business, and how has that journey been?
Okay. So today marks 1 year in business.
Yay.
Oh, congrats.
Happy
I'm a baby business owner too.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you. So 1 year ago, I had a job offer making the most money that I would have ever made. It was a really great job offer. And then I had a panic attack. And I was like, why am I stressed, right? Because now I teach all day. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to the signal. Why is my body telling me that I am not aligned? Why am I feeling physically unwell if I have this amazing opportunity in front of me? And I just knew that I had to launch Discover Health. I had been talking about it, and I was just like, it's now or never. At that point, I had my second baby in 3 years, He was 6 months old. And I just felt like I was not getting the care that I wanted. And there was no Discover Health for me as a postpartum mom. So I was like, I have to do this. And so having those children too, I had 2 home births. I think I just felt kind of invincible, And I was like, I can do anything.
You on that Rihanna level.
Yes. Back to back. Yeah. So I felt invincible, and I was like, it's now or never. It's on my heart. I don't feel well in my body. I know that I'm not aligned. And so I just have to keep pushing forward and do this, even though it's never been done and nobody else is doing it. But here we go. It's now or never. So when I got the email to record today, I was really just like, I was like, thank you, God. Like, thank you, God. I feel aligned. So looking back over this last year, I definitely feel like I am walking in alignment, and I know that I'm on the right path, just because little signs like this. So
God nods. That's what we like to call God nods.
I love
these
that.
parts.
God nods.
That resonates with me so much, because that's exactly when I started my business a couple of years ago. Tiffany was at the beginning of that, like scraping me off the floor of my panic attack moment, and helping and supporting me on that path. And I believe in that. So it's these little signs that your voice is needed. That you're, and I can just see, just like when I talk about negotiating, I see that sparkle in you, and I'm so excited that you took that leap.
Thank you.
Yeah, and isn't it the best when you have kids and you can manage your own schedule?
Yeah, you would think. I feel like I'm working harder now than I did before.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like, what is sleep?
Okay, we can work on that.
That's it. I mean, it's a lot, especially in the beginning,
it's your Beyonce era, like Tiffany says.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just what it looks like, but it's still, there's a freedom that cannot be replaced or mimicked in, working for someone else. There's nothing wrong with working for someone else. So certainly we're not shading that, 'cause I love when I taught preschool.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a level of and freedom within reason, meaning like what you can make, there's really no cap on it. And certainly, you have some choice over schedule, although in the beginning, it won't feel like that, that's just how it goes for most people in the beginning. But yeah, no, I just love that. Like, look at us, 3 brown girls, 3 business brown girls, just out here, on the day. It's a love fest.
That it's possible. Yeah,
it is possible. Like, no matter what it is, because look at Mandy, negotiating queen. We have Jenna, vulva queen.
I love that.
pelvic health queen, right? And then me, personal finance queen. So it is possible. Hopefully, those you listen can see yourselves in our journeys. But, Jenna, we really want to thank you for coming. This was awesome sauce.
Yay.
I think that, so if people want to find you, Even if they don't live in DC, I know you have a very helpful website. Share again where they can find you on social and your site and how they can keep connected.
Yes, definitely follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Discover Her Health, DISCOVHER Health. The website is the same, discoverherhealth.com. We have lots of posts and resources, working on some courses. And yeah, follow me there for all of the updates. And I'm excited to give the girls what they deserve.
If there's one key thing I'll take away from our convo, Jenna, it's like, I thought I was advocating for myself by asking about my issue, but the real challenge is when they give you a simple answer and pat you on the head, coming back after that.
Yep.
And it's like holding yourself accountable to go back and be the squeaky wheel, which even I still struggle with. I can do it when it comes down to negotiating money, but I just can't find the same passion for my bladder and my vulva, but I should.
You need an advocate, and I'm happy to be there for you.
Yeah. And to actually, and recognize that they don't know the answer, but make them give me a referral or make them, point them. And to your point, if we ask those questions, it'll put the pressure on them to find answers, So thank you so much for sharing. This is a perfect way to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Hell yeah. It's about our sexual health and our, loving ourselves and taking care of our bodies, like the essential part. So this was perfect. This worked out
is wonderful.
amazing.
I'm so happy that you guys had me.
Hey, BA fam, we could not do this show without your support or the support of our team behind the scenes. The Brown Ambition podcast is produced by Cumulus Podcast Network. It's edited by the wonderful Imani Crosby and produced by Tanya Bustos. Dennis Stemplinsky is our in-house tech guru, and I am Mandy Woodruff Santos, your co-host, and I will see y'all next week.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
With her assistant, Jess.
LA, it can become suffocating.
Did something happen where you felt like I have to get out of here? Or do you just think it just happens sometimes?
I think it just happens, but also just everything going on in my personal life. Like, I want to get on this mic and be like, this is what I've been dealing with for 14 months.
Give Them Lala, wherever you listen.